Most OFM agencies think that they need better outreach scripts or better appointment setters or cheaper ads or a better platform to do outreach on or to acquire models or wherever they sort of made up excuses. But your real constraint isn't even actually leads. And so you're solving for the wrong problem, right? Like I'll say that again, pay attention. Like your real constraint isn't leads. It's irrelevance. Nobody knows you exist. And so quite literally all growth is constrained by irrelevance. And so like you can have the best systems in the world, but if no one trusts you or nobody believes you or remembers your name, you'll always be stuck chasing new models week after week, month after month, year after year, if you even make it that far, instead of like attracting them, right? So like you'll always be chasing new models instead of attracting them. And so the agencies that dominate the space and will continue to dominate the space will be the ones not who have better systems, but the ones that have the better perception of the market, because perception is reality. And so the people that work on their personal brands now, 5 years from now, will outlast the people with the best systems, with the best models, because that's where this entire internet space is going. Like if you think the billionaires and all these people that are starting to work on their personal brand are just doing it because they want to grow a personal brand for their ego, like it's not an ego thing, it's leverage. It is how you build authority in this current day and age. It is how you reduce skepticism. It's how you attract the best inbound leads. It is how you recruit A+ talent. And you can do it without paying for ads or for traffic. Like it is the ultimate leverage. It's the only moat that's going to protect you from AI and from pretty much everything else that's sort of on its way up. And so like, if you do not have a brand in the next few years, like you're gonna get wiped out. Like I don't care if you're doing $1 million a month, $2 million a month, $10 million a month, I literally don't care. Like if you don't see the leverage behind growing a personal brand in a specific niche and having the perception, a better perception than anyone else in that market, like you're cooked. You're just ignorant. Like AI is gonna, like, it's your only real protection against AI is having a personal brand. And so you need to become known, and that is the hard truth. Like you have to, if you really want to start a business, if you really want to make a lot of money and you want to like not just be a flash in the pan and make a ton of money in 1 year, 2 years and then disappear back to nothing. Like if you actually want to play the long game and build something real and make money for the rest of your life, like you have to put your ego aside and you have to start working on a personal brand. Like you need to become known, right? And so like most of you think the problem's leads, but it's not. Like your real problem is no one knows you exist. All the models you're trying to reach out to do not know you exist. And so like you're sitting on a potential gold mine, but you're invisible to the people who'd actually pay you or join your service or wherever. And so like I said, all growth is constrained by irrelevance. If every single person in your market knew you existed and believed what you said, your business would be dramatically larger tomorrow, but they don't, right? They don't know you exist, and so you're capped. And so, like, I see it all the time where, like, people will think, like, oh, my market's saturated, the space is saturated, but, like, bro, you do not understand how big this is. Like, even if 1% of people knew you existed in your market, you'd have a substantially big business. There's like 7 million OnlyFans creators. Like, there's probably not even 10 or 20 that know who you are and exist and believe what you say. And so, like, you've not, like, capped out the market. Like, you've not saturated. Like, even my business, like, we're small fish. Like, we're still making over $1 million a month, but, like, we're small fish. Like, so it's like, it's not saturated. There's just, right now, no one is focusing on the most leveraged thing. Like, you need to be putting all your time, effort, power, and energy behind your brand, right? And so, like, a lot of the time, the reason why, like, people will think it's saturated, or like, oh, maybe there's people working on their personal brand in the space, or it's too late for me, or blah, blah, blah. It's like, social media algorithms like create echo chambers, right? And so like your feed is going to show you what you see, but that's not necessarily reality. Like you're technically living in a bubble when you're on security, right? And so your competition is not other agencies. Me and you are not competitors. Like we're just not. Like your competition is obscurity. Like creators do not know who to trust. They don't even know like what a real agency looks like. They just see all these DMs from these shitty low quality profiles saying, we'll scale you to 6 figures, we'll make you rich, like come join a real agency, blah, blah, blah. Like that's the vacuum that you fill when you build a brand, because brand is the cure to obscurity. So something that's really interesting, I recently paid Alex Amosi $24,000 for coaching. And he was saying in a call with us a week or so ago that he had spent $5 million promoting his book and still had people in his own audience saying like, wait, what the fuck? Like you wrote a book? Like I didn't know. And so like if someone can spend that kind of money and still fight invisibility, like what does that say about the attention landscape that we're playing in, right? It means attention is far rarer than money. And the people who can reliably generate their attention will always have the leverage on those who can only buy it. And so like in our world, the ones who own the attention, who become known, never have to worry about lead flow again. And so that's the game you should be playing. Like when you have that, like creators chase you up, like chatters line up to work for you, like talent is way easier to acquire. Other agencies want to partner with you. Like being known is quite literally asymmetric leverage. Once you're known for something specific, like being the guy that scales creators from 10K a month to 100K a month, or the agency that can generate 2,000 paying subs in the first 30 days, like every other system that you build gets easier. Like I said, hiring gets easier, sales gets easier, retention gets easier. Like everything just increases exponentially. Like is the biggest asymmetry in every single one of you guys' agencies. Whether you want to believe that or not, like the biggest constraint and the biggest asymmetric point of leverage in your business is building a brand. Because brand compounds trust before the first conversation ever happens, okay? So you want to start to think of your brand as like proactive reputation. It's what people believe about you before they meet you. So when a potential creator sees your videos or whatever, like your content, like, and says, oh, you know, those guys know what they're doing. Like that's the reputation, like working in advance, right? Without the brand though, like every creator that you speak to in the DMs and so on and so forth, like you're just like starting from zero, right? Whereas with a brand, you're not starting from zero. Whereas without the brand, you are literally starting from zero every conversation, every call, every DM with the creator, because like you have to rebuild trust from scratch, like over and over. So when you have a brand, you just flip that momentum in your favor. You start every conversation with like a surplus of trust. They already believe you can help, right? They just want to know how, right? That's like the invisible, intangible ROI of a brand. It compounds silently in the background until like one day you realize like, holy shit, like 80% of my pipeline is from inbound, from my brand. Okay. Real quick, I've got a free gift for you, and it's called the OFM Scaling Roadmap. And it's something that I've spent over 150 hours building because I was sick of seeing agency owners get stuck at the same points, make the same mistakes, and not know why. And so what it does is it breaks down the journey of growing an OFM agency into 7 clear stages, from 0 to 500K plus per month. And it shows you what to focus on, what to ignore, and how to scale without burning out or blowing up the back end of your business. We cover all 8 business functions, from product, marketing, sales, IT, customer success, recruiting, HR, and finance, and what each one needs to look like at your current stage. So if you're stuck at 10K a month, 30K a month, 100K a month and beyond, this will tell you why and exactly what you need to do to graduate to the next level. It's totally free. Just click the first link below this YouTube video, answer a few questions so I can customize it for you, and I will send it right over. I also just want to say thank you. The DMs I get daily from people using the content, sharing wins, breakthroughs, clarity, it genuinely fires me up. And if you're watching still feeling stuck or confused, you are not alone. This roadmap is for you. I built what I wish I'd had when I started, and now it's yours. Now, a big lesson that I've learned the hard way many times, and the clients we've worked with have learned the hard way many times, and I want to save you a ton of money and time. And this is something that should like almost scare you into producing content. Like if you're actually serious about making this money online, is that irrelevance kills momentum. And what I mean by that is every time that you stop posting for a week, right, your brand equity decays. Okay, so like every silent day it's like building compound interest in reverse. Right? And so like creators forget, algorithms forget, the market forgets. So being known isn't just like a one-time event where you post a YouTube video and you feel good about yourself because now you've got a personal brand. It's a maintenance habit. It has to be a daily thing. Just like fitness, right? If you miss a few workouts, your strength starts to fade. So your goal with a brand is not to go viral or any of that. Like your goal is just persistent omnipresence, right? It is to be the name that pops up in every single conversation about OFM agencies, if that's the brand you're building. So being known is not vanity, right? A lot of people will create a brand for like vanity and for ego, but it's not about that, right? It is quite literally survival, and that's how you have to look at it. Because in this era, the agencies that win are not just the ones with the best systems or the best chatters, they're the ones that the market actually remembers. And the sort of punchline here is like, you can't convert someone who's never heard of you, right? You can only convert the known. And so your first job as a business owner is to sell, is to make sure that your market knows you exist, believes what you say, and sees you everywhere. That is the foundation everything else rests on. So how do you actually like build this brand thing and do this whole like social media game? So we've talked about like why being known matters. So hopefully that sets the tone for the video and puts everything into perspective to you. So fucking lock in and pay attention to the rest of it, because this is like now the tactical stuff, okay? Because you need this. If you ignore this video and you can't put your dopamine like craving brain aside and just pay attention, like you're already fucked. So it makes no difference to me. Like my life doesn't change either way, right? So you wanna, there's three levers, I would look at it, right? There's like three main levers that determine how much attention you generate and how valuable that attention becomes, right? And those three levers are volume, which is the quantity of output you produce, clarity, which is the sharpness of your message and targeting, and then the third one is proof, right? The credibility that makes people believe you. So volume, clarity, and proof. Those are like the three levers that determine how much attention you generate and how valuable that attention becomes. So when you combine those three, volume, clarity, and proof, your content stops being just like generic, just noise. And it actually starts to become more of like a predictable growth engine, right? So let's look at volume, right? We're gonna call these the laws, right? The three laws. Law one is volume, right? So volume negates luck. When people say like my content isn't working, what they really mean is I haven't produced enough of it for the math to kick in. And so like you are not in the content business, you're in the volume business, because every single post is like a lottery ticket or like a coin flip. And the more you flip, the more heads you get, okay? Pause, like I didn't mean it like that, but the more heads you get, the more times you flip. Well, the more lottery tickets you buy, the more chance you have to win the lottery, right? Didn't mean to get sexual on you. So a single piece of content, a single video can change your entire business overnight. It can change your entire pipeline, but you'll never reach that piece of content or that video without the 99 videos before it that taught the algorithm and you what works. So you want to start posting across multiple platforms daily. You want to start recording as much as you possibly can. You want to start delegating your editing, anything that's like menial, like posting and so on and so forth, if you're in a position to do so you can keep that creative brain free. And like whenever you get an idea, you need to go and film it there and then in that moment. Don't like be like, oh yeah, I'll film that later. Like just take inspiration. Like every idea we get is a gift, right? And you need to go and run the play as soon as you get an idea, you just film. And you want to start to track the weekly total output, right? So if you're not embarrassed by how much content you produce, you're not producing enough. It's as simple as that, okay? And so that's what you need to understand, right? You need to start to think in thousands of pieces of content, not tens. Like if you post 200 pieces of content this year, someone in your niche posting 20,000 pieces of content will outpace you even if their quality is lower, because the algorithms favor consistency and people favor familiarity, and so the volume fuels both, right? And that is key. You need to figure this out, and you need to post. Like I said, volume negates luck, and volume multiplies everything as well, right? So every piece of content does three things. It trains the algorithm to recognize what your audience should see you. It trains the market to associate your name with authority, and it trains you to communicate clearer and faster. So even your bad pieces of content are not necessarily wasted. They're data, okay? And so quantity is the opposite of quality, but it's the path to quality. So the amount of quantity, like the amount of quantity you post determines the quality. Like your audience really determines what is quality, and you only get that by quality. That's a better way to say it. So that's the first law, right, is volume. Law 2 is clarity, right? Clarity beats cleverness. The most common reason that content fails is because it tries to impress instead of connect with people. And so like your job is not to sound smart, it's to be understood by the people that you want to attract. So if you've got like really clever hooks and buzzwords, like that can win comments from like other agencies, or like if you're speaking in like this agency language that I speak to you in, like that might win comments from other agencies, other marketers, but clarity is what's going to win clients. So you want to speak your avatar's language, right? Creators do not think like us in marketing terms. They don't think, oh, I need better systems. Systems is probably not even within their vocabulary. They say like, oh, I'm tired of chatting all day and I'm tired of making the same amount of money. As an example, right? That's their language, and so use it. Every time you use your audience's vocabulary, you lower resistance, and every time you use your vocabulary, you raise it. And so you have to speak to your avatar, and you have to, more importantly, know who your avatar is to be able to speak to them, right? So you want to always use like specific language tailored to your avatar. So that's what you need to understand when it comes to clarity. And then law number 3 is proof, right? And proof conquers disbelief. So you can get this attention, and you can like, you know, have these videos, they can make them go viral and so on and so forth. And a lot of people do, right? A lot of people, like, it's easy to go viral for the sake of going viral. Like I could post a video right now and get 1 million+ views, and I could go viral for the sake of being viral. But does it build trust, right? Does it build the audience I want? No. And so like you'll see why there's influencers with 30 million followers that launch these things and it completely fails, because like they've got the vanity metrics, they've got like the views and the content, but like they never actually convert because they never built trust with their audience. They've just got a ton of attention, and attention doesn't necessarily mean anything without trust, right? Like it's useless. Attention is literally useless without trust. So proof is what converts attention into belief, and then belief converts people into buy-in. So every prospect, every avatar, every client that you're going after lives with the same hidden question. Why should I believe you? Right? Your job is to answer that before they ask. So the reason the 3rd law is proof is because people don't doubt the result, they doubt the source. And so creators already believe it's possible to make money, they just don't believe that you can help them do it. And so proof is what actually bridges that gap, okay? And so like you need to like start having a system within your agency that captures proof, even the small proof. Like if a client is happy with your service, or you need a mechanism to capture as much proof as possible, right? That is what you need to do. Every single result that you have, every single little bit of proof, no matter how big and small, increases the perceived likelihood of the next, okay? So over time, that belief compounds just like interest, and every single new case study that you create, or every single win that you have, makes the previous ones more believable. And it's a cycle. Like if you have a case study that shows a creator winning, that is then more likely, if a creator sees it, they have trust now, and they're more likely to go and win just because of that, okay? So that is why you need to document everything within your business. Wins, milestones, testimonials, behind the scenes stuff. Like every artifact that you have is a deposit into the belief bank, okay? So those are the 3 laws, okay? Volume, clarity, proof, 3 laws. Now, when volume, clarity, and proof operate together, they create an ecosystem. So volume ensures you're seen, clarity ensures that you're understood, and proof ensures that you're believed. So if you've got if you're seen plus understood plus believed, that equals influence. And once you have influence, selling stops feeling like convincing and starts feeling like permission. So it's like they're already halfway sold when they arrive, okay? So, like I said, most people in the marketing space, they try to win marketing with brilliance. But the winners win with frequency, they win with clarity, and they win with evidence, right? You don't need to be like the loudest voice, or you don't need to have the biggest wins and so on and so forth. You just need to be the most consistent one that makes sense and actually just backs up what you're talking about, right? Volume is what creates that reach. Clarity is what creates that resonance, and proof is what creates that belief. And so together, like I said, they make your brand impossible to ignore. But becoming known is only the first step, right? Because once people see you, the next challenge is like, how do they actually perceive you? Because like I said, attention alone does not pay the bills. You can have, like I said, millions of impressions, and you can still have zero leverage if people do not believe or trust you. So influence is actually what turns that visibility into conversion. And influence is not random, right? It is a formula that you can control. So influence is the likelihood of compliance with a request. That's pretty much it, right? So when you tell your audience to book a call or to join the group or to watch the free training, it's like, how likely are they to actually do it? And so the probability is the probability that they do that thing is your true level of influence. It's not about followers, it's not about views, it's not about likes, shares, comments, none of that matters. It's about how much weight that your words carry. So influence can be engineered using 4 elements, right? Status, power, credibility, and likeness. And so each of those 4 can work on its own, but the real force comes when you stack all of them together. And so it's like, if you can hit all 4 of those consistently, like status, power, credibility, likeness, and you can hit them consistently in your content and your personal brand, that is how you end up dominating your niche's perception, right? Because perception is the reality. And so let's break these down, right? If we look at status, status is the perception that you control something valuable that others want, right? So it could be money, it could be results, it could be access, it could be expertise, it could be information, it could be an opportunity. And so when someone sees your agency or your personal brand or your content or your lifestyle or your systems or your results, they subconsciously ask themselves oh, can this person give me access to someone I don't have? And if the answer feels like a yes, that is when your status rises, okay? And so the goal is not to flex, right? Because that's what a lot of people get wrong with status. It's not to flex, because status is what makes people lean in. It's what creates their aspiration, but it's not to flex. Status is to signal competence. That's the best way to look at it, right? Creators do not want to partner with a flexer. They want to partner with someone who clearly has control over the outcomes that they desire. So you show status by documenting outcomes instead of just talking about how good you are and how amazing you are and talking about how you can get these outcomes. You do it by clearly documenting the outcomes instead of just talking about them. So let's look at status, right? Status is the perception that you control something valuable that others want. That's all it really is. So that could be money, that could be results, could be access, expertise, information, opportunity, okay? And status is what makes people lean in. It's what creates that aspiration. And so when someone sees your agency or your lifestyle or your systems or your results, they're always subconsciously asking themselves, can this person give me access to someone I don't have? And if the answer feels like a yes, then your status rises. So the goal isn't to flex when it comes to status, right? You want to be displaying status authentically. It is all about signaling competence, right? Creators do not want to partner with a flexer. Okay, that's not the avatar that you're going after. If you flexing stuff and doing this, you're getting the avatar wrong. You clearly do not know who your avatar is. If you run an FM agency and you think flexing is going to be the way to attract these creators, it's not. They don't want to partner with a flexer. That just tells me you do not know your avatar whatsoever, right? They want to partner with someone who clearly has control over the outcomes that they desire. So you show status by documenting those outcomes and not just talking about them and talking about how good you are and showing all this wealth, right? So status is not about showing off wealth. It's about proving that you have mastery over the scarce levers of traffic or conversion or scaling them and so on and so forth, right? And so if you own the resources that they desire, if you can if you have control over the outcomes that they desire, you will own the attention that they give you. So that is what you understand, because humans are wired to follow perceived leaders, because status signals safety and success. From a evolutionary psychology perspective, right? Status signals safety and success. So when you look like the person who knows what they're doing, people offload their decision making to you, right? And so that is what you need to understand. The next thing is power, right? So power is the ability to influence behavior through repeated positive reinforcement. So in simple terms, when you say something, people do it, it works, and then your future words carry more weight, okay? So every time you give actionable advice that produces a win for your audience, your power therefore increases. So they start thinking, oh shit, when I follow Dylan's advice on YouTube or in his Skool community, like good things happen. And that is then how my authority compounds for you, right? So you need to understand power. Like you want to be able to give people small wins that they can experience fast. Now it might sound like super obvious, but very few people understand or actually do this. And so you want to actually understand like, right, how can I repeatedly cause like tiny dopamine hits through my advice so you become addicted so they become addicted to your content is the best way to say it, okay? So that's what you need to understand. Then you've got credibility, right? Credibility is like, if status makes them want to listen and power makes them believe your advice works, credibility is what removes the risk from following you. So credibility is like, it's built when the independent evidence supports what you claim. It's what differentiates a fake guru from someone who's like an actual proven operator. So you can create credibility through results, screenshots, testimonials, press, mentions, certainty in a certain process, and so on and so forth, right? Now, there's a lot of people also get mixed up between credibility and bragging. So like bragging is like, oh, look how good we are, like we can make you rich, why would you ever be with any other agency? Look at how great I am, like I make all these creators millionaires, blah, blah, blah. Whereas credibility is like, here's what we did, this is how we did it, and here's the proof behind it, right? So like one of those triggers envy, right? Like bragging triggers envy, and the other one is going to trigger trust, right? Credibility triggers trust. And so like, don't say, oh, we're the best, oh, blah, 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 blah. Like it does not give you credibility whatsoever. Okay, it hurts you more than anything else. Instead, it's like, you need to be like, okay, look, here's how we helped the creator go from 10K a month to 280K a month in 60 days using this exact content and chat sequence. So it's like, that specificity transforms the arrogance and bragging into like real evidence-based shit that the creator is going to be like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about, instead of like, fuck, this guy's full of himself, I would never want to work with him, right? So that is what you need to understand. Now, consistency also builds credibility, funny enough. So like every time you post a video for your personal brand, like you actually make a micro promise that I'm going to show up again tomorrow. And so like when you actually do, you reinforce reliability. And so even if your content isn't perfect, just showing up on schedule tells your audience that you're dependable. And dependability is credibility. So I see time and time again, you have all these agencies that are building their personal brand, and they're making videos about, oh, if you're a creator, you need to be posting a minimum 3 times a day. Blah, 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 blah. Like it's so easy and like wherever. And then I go to their page and I look at their page and they're not even posting fucking once a day. They're missing weeks. Right? And so it's like, like you can't tell your avatar to do something and then do something different. Like you can't be like, oh yeah, you need to post a minimum 3 times a day on IG and then not post 3 times a day yourself. Like it does not build credibility, right? Like for example, for me, I can make a video on that. You can go and check my IG on TikTok. I post 6 times a day, right? like I can say that because I actually do it. And so it gives me credibility because it's like, oh, this guy shows up. And that's the key, right? So you have to understand that. And the last thing is likeness, right? Which is being relatable and being human, which like it's almost like, bro, no one knows how to do this these days. Like everyone's reading fucking AI scripts and like sounding word for word. Like it's actually crazy. Like it's just AI slop everywhere. That does not help your likeness, which is arguably one of the most important factors. Like you need to be relatable and you need to be a human being. Like for example, for me, like when I tell my story and so on and so forth, like it's just me, like being relatable. Like I'm just a regular ass motherfucker. Like you might sit here and watch this video and think like I'm some genius, but I'm fucking not. Like I'm really not. Like I literally grew up in worse conditions than most, with a single mother, broke as hell, living in a shitty fucking flat, and I grinded my way. Like I didn't sign my first creator and like make a fucking ton of money and blew her up and got lucky. Like I had a fucking grind. Like I was trying this shit for years and years and years and nothing was working. And I was going through all the trial and error. Like I did not like have luck. And that's why a lot of people relate with me, because they're like, okay, he's actually in the same position as me. Like, he wasn't in a privileged position where he started with this model that like blew up and like kind of got a bit lucky. Like, no, like I tried everything and failed at everything, and it was shit, and I ate shit for 4 years and nothing worked until eventually it did, as I got better and more skilled. And so like that's why a lot of people relate with me, because I didn't have a fucking silver spoon. Like, there's so many of these like OFM guys that like got lucky with their first creator because they was in the right circles, or, you know, never really had to work hard for anything and kind of just got it handed to them, and so on and so forth. Like, that was not me. Like, I come from the fucking Welsh valleys in a flat, and like I was not a good student in school. Like, I'm not intelligent, I'm not smart, but I just made it work through just sheer fucking volume, and like working 20-hour days and sleeping for 4 hours and doing that for 4 years straight and seeing nothing in return. Like, I've been there, and that's why like that's why like I think a lot of the people that work with me end up getting crazy results, because like all the other people that they go and work with, they have like such a skewed perception on like what works, because they're like, oh, just because this, like they, like a lot of like these OFM gurus think like, oh, but this is what worked for me, that means it's going to work for you. But it's like, no, it doesn't. And so like that's why a lot of people that work with me get these crazy results, because like I have done everything and tried everything to get to a point where now I know what worked. And not just that, I've extrapolated my learnings and lessons to now like thousands of other agencies, and I've also been able to see not just what works for me and just be like this special snowflake like, oh, this worked for me so it's going to work for you, because that doesn't mean shit. It's like, well, no, I've got the data across thousands of agencies of exactly what's worked. This is the thing that works time and time again, so like that's why people that work with me get results, right? And that all comes from likeness, and that all comes from being relatable and being a human being, which a lot of people don't do, especially with this AI slot. Kind of on a tangent there, but like people connect through familiarity, not through perfection. Like, I am not perfect at all, okay? And I share that with you guys. And so it's like why people prefer buying from someone that they like, even if someone else has a slightly better offer or slightly better systems or wherever, right? So audiences today are like allergic to pretense, right? They've seen too many agencies or too many people that feel robotic or feel corporate, right? Likeness comes from like, they don't want a faceless brand. They want a person that they can relate to. And so the likeness comes from sharing your actual perspective and personality, your values, your quirks, your humors, your stories. And so like, when you talk about what you stand for, not just what you sell, you attract ones who share the same worldview and repel the ones who do not, okay? And so, like, that is what you need to understand. That's why I just told you my story, right? Like, I'm being relatable, and I'm just being genuine and being authentic, and that's, like, actually true. Like, I'm not saying it to build likeness and because it's, like, some, you know, thing for you to get me to buy my stuff. Like, it's like, no, like, that's just me and being authentic. And that's how you need to be. Like, you need to be willing to be vulnerable, to be authentic, and to create likeness, okay? So, that's that, right? So you need to understand, like, we're drawn to people who reflect some version of ourselves. And so if you look, speak, and act like someone that your creators aspire to, like, work with, you'll naturally trigger likeness, right? You don't have to be a celebrity. You just have to be, like, a real-ass motherfucker that's not just reading AI slop. And you need to do it consistently, and you need to show up time and time again. Because like I said, that consistency creates a predictable emotional response of like, okay, I like this person, they feel familiar. And like once that happens, your brand can then transition from just making content that they watch to a relationship that they feel the need to maintain. Like that's why Sam Sulek blew up, right? It wasn't because people just wanted to watch the content. They felt like they had a relationship with Sam to maintain, which is why they showed up every single day and watched his video, right? So status, power, credibility, likeness, right? Status creates desire, power creates trust, credibility creates safety, and likeness creates connection. And when all four are present, your avatar's resistance pretty much drops to zero. And so at that point, selling just becomes extremely easy. Like you're not even selling, you're just guiding them to make a decision. Like you don't have to convince anyone anymore, right? You're simply just directing people who already trust you towards the next logical step that's going to help them. Now, something that's going to be really important for you to implement once you're on this personal brand journey is metrics to track that actually matter, right? So don't get overwhelmed with like what metrics to look at, like views and so on and so forth. Like forget all the vanity metrics like views and shares and likes and all that shit does not matter, right? What you should be tracking first is inbounds per week, right? So whether that's DMs that you get inbound, whether that's calls you get booked inbound, the forms that get filled out, so on and so forth. The next metric is repeat viewers. So people who comment or engage more than once. Then you got proof collected, so the number of new screenshots and testimonials that you get. And then you've got posting consistency, right? Because like I said, the days that you miss just creates brand decay. So those are the 4 main KPIs that measure like the real health of your brand, right? So those are, just to keep it super simple, like we don't have to get into any depth, those are the main 4: inbounds per week, repeat viewers, proof collected, and posting consistency, right? Now, also I want to talk about some common pitfalls that people fall into when they start a personal brand, right? Firstly, they think that people like actually pay attention and care and listen. Like, no, people only worry about themselves. Like, they really do not give a fuck about you. Like, they'll forget as soon as they watch the video. The next pitfall is over editing and stuff like that, right? Like, perfection is what kills frequency. So done always beats perfect. So that's how you need to live. Done beats perfect. Every time you make a video, done beats perfect. Like, look at all my YouTube videos. Like, these are not edited. I haven't edited a YouTube video in fucking years. Same with like my content. Like, I don't do any of that shit. To the point where like my YouTube videos are actually not edited. Like for my short form stuff, like I haven't edited them. But for my YouTube videos, like I literally just hit record and I just fucking post. Like that's it, right? So like done beats perfect, right? So I just like to reduce the friction between me having an idea and then making content. Like I don't want to have a crazy fucking camera and a mic setup and I have to set up all this stuff and then I have to record. Like no, I just want the easiest way. Like I'll get bullet points of what I want to talk about, right? Maybe some sentences of specific stuff that I want to hit on, put them in a Notion doc or in a Google doc, and then I'll just like go through it, film the video, and then upload the video. Boom, done, right? It's not perfect. Like done beats perfect. Talking about yourself on your avatar is another common pitfall, right? So like showing their problem, you want to show their problem through your proof, right? Neglecting emotion is another one, right? So like data builds logic, but your story is what builds that emotion, is what builds that memory. And so like you want to use both, right? You don't want to just like neglect emotion. And then also burning out from doing it all yourself. That's a very other common pitfall. Now, there's a ton of other pitfalls, but like these are the main ones, I think. Like burning out from doing it all yourself. So like either build a light team earlier on if you can, like editors, thumbnail designers, caption writers, or just make it as simple as possible for you to hit record. Like literally all I have is this mic, a DJI Osmo. I use a software called ScreenFlow, and then I bullet point, film a video, save it, export it, upload it, and then I have a templated thumbnails that I can pretty much just like upload. So it's really simple for me to do, like just because I don't want to even like, I don't even want the effort and energy of going back and forth with a thumbnail designer and sending pictures and all this sort of stuff. Like one day I just took fuck tons of thumbnail pictures. I've got like 4 or 5 main key templates, and that's all it is me changing a word or dragging in a new picture and it's done. And I upload the video and I'm good. Like, yeah, I do that myself. Like it's super simple, super easy. Just like, yeah, that way I just don't burn out. So I would recommend doing the same thing. And together, all those things create inevitability. Like it is inevitable. Like it is fucking Thanos collecting all the Infinity Stones. Like it is inevitable, right? When that happens, you do not need to fight for attention anymore. You just start collecting attention and everything becomes easier. And that's like the real leverage of a personal brand that operates like a system. Right? You can't treat your personal brand like some side hustle, like some side project that you're just gonna work on here and there and act like you gotta stop acting like anything else is more important in your business. It's not. Like you've gotta stop acting like this, making these ads or this new shiny object or this new content or like all this other shit. Like there's nothing else that is more leverage. Like there's nothing else. Like this is the one thing. Like you need to be spending 4 hours a day on this, like minimum. Like I don't care what you tell yourself about. Oh no, but I need to do this today. It's more important. Like blah blah blah. No, it's not. It's not. And if you haven't got 4 hours or 5 hours or 6 hours a day to put into your personal brand, you're doing something wrong with your business. Like you're doing something wrong. It's set up in the wrong way. And so like I'd advise you to drop me a message on IG, potentially come and work with us so we can help you decentralize so you can focus on the more leverage stuff so you're not stuck on the fucking hamster wheel for the rest of your life, putting out fires all the time and in 2 years end up going broke. Like that's not a sustainable business, right? So please, I make these videos to help as many of you as possible, right? And I'm not fucking Superman and Batman. Of course there's something in it for me as well. Like if you watch these videos, it builds my brand, right? Like that's the point. It's a win-win for everyone. So like the more value I put out, the more wins you get, the more likeness that creates for me, and the more people that will come and work with us, and the more money I make, right? That's me being completely fucking real with you, and you need to do the same thing for your agency, right? So that is what you need to understand. If you want me to go more in depth on this, and I've kind of just gone on more of a rant in this video today. Like I said, done beats perfection. But if you want me to like go more in depth, and you want me to actually like talk about more tactical shit of like what types of videos, how to do it, like all this other tactical shit, then just comment below. Or if you want to see me make another video, even if you found value in this video, just comment. And yeah, that's going to be it for today. I'll see you at the top. Peace.